Hi ladies, how are you? You're doing nice seeing you. Thank you so much for coming. What we're doing today is Parashat Ki Tavo. Parashat Ki Tavo is usually read either a week or 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah, and we're getting close to Rosh Hashanah. What would you think you're supposed to work on yourself before Rosh Hashanah? Hashem, we're religious, we keep the mitzvot, we're doing stuff. How can we work? How can we fix or improve ourselves? Or what should we do tshuva in? So let's start with a story. There was this old man that lived all his life in Russia, in communist Russia. And he came once to Harav Gershon Lieberman and told him that he's Jewish. So Rabbi Lieberman is asking him, can you prove that you're Jewish? Do you know anything about Judaism? He says, no, unfortunately, I don't know anything. You know to say Shema Yisrael? Do you keep Shabbat? Do you know what's Yom Kippur? He says, I'm sorry, I don't know anything. So how would I know if you're Jewish? He says, I do know one verse by heart, and it says, what's that? So basic Kachma you don't know. What is Yom Kippur you don't know. What is this verse that you know? He told him the pasuk that we're going to read in this parasha. תחת אשר לא אהבת את השם אלוקיך בשמחה, בטוב לבב, מרוב כל. It's because you didn't, serve Hashem with gladness, with happiness, in your heart, with goodness in your heart. Whenever you had all the abundance, the shefa, you had the shefa, and you didn't worship Hashem. Because you didn't do this, Hashem in this parasha says that the punishment would be that you will, God forbid, serve the enemies. You didn't worship Hashem, you're going to serve the enemies. Okay? So this pasuk I know. How do you know this pasuk? It's a very hard pasuk, and it's written in Sefer Dvarim, in the 5th book. How would you know that? He told him, I was in World War II, okay? And in World War II, he was imprisoned in the extermination camp in Birnekau, together with some other Jews. And the Nazis over there, they loved seeing Jews suffer. They would find all kinds of excuses how to make them suffer. So in that camp, next to it, there was a hill. Okay, they had this kind of a hobby. They wanted to make them suffer, so they used to order them to put very, very heavy loads on them and to go up the hill. Okay, and they would enjoy, have pleasure in seeing these people fall down, okay, roll down, fall, break bones, this, that, suffer, painful. They loved seeing it. And so this person, okay, this old person, he was built healthy, so he survived this, okay. But most of the people, don't forget, there was starvation, they were hungry, they didn't have, and low spirit and everything, they didn't survive that. So he survived, and you remember another Jewish person that survived, another thin person, that he didn't even know how he survived. So one day as they were inclining, going up the hill, he hears the rabbi mumble something to himself. So he came closer to hear what the man said, and he said this pasuk, תחת אשר לא אהבת את השם אלוקיך בשמחה. Because you didn't worship Hashem. Whenever you had everything, in Europe people had, Baruch Hashem, they didn't worship Hashem with happiness. This is why now we are suffering under, the Nazis, when they force us, when they torture us, when they make us suffer. So he used to say it all the time, repeating it to himself and repeating it to himself. And because he repeated it so much to himself, this old man, he remembered what the man used to say. So he tells him, who was this wondrous man that survived the Holocaust? He said, I don't know, but everyone called him the Kloisenberg Rebbe. הרבי מקלויזנבורג, האדמו"ר מקלויזנבורג, הרב יקותיאל יהודה הלברשטם, זה הצד. He was a very, 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 very special man. He, לא עלינו, lost his wife and his 11 children in the Holocaust.
The Klausenberg Rebbe?
Yeah. And all his community were wiped out. And basically lost everything. And not that he got, God forbid, in depression or something. No, the opposite. He used to give so much hope to people. He used to encourage people wherever he used to go. Whether it was afterwards, they had these camps, DP camps for people. Meanwhile, until they find them a place where to go. And then he established yeshiva, he established Talmud Torah, all kind of chesed organizations for the needy, for the hunger, for the widows, for the orphans. This he did also as he came to live here in the United States. I lived in Netanya when I was younger, and he established a hospital, Laniada Hospital. It's for religious people. Okay, it was something new at that time, but this man keep continuing doing good to people. So everyone goes through difficult times. Everyone goes through all kind of tests in his life. And these tests, the difficult times, can bring people, God forbid, to have doubts about emunah, to become sad, and many times also to get, lo alenu, into depression. So as I said before, we're in Chodesh Elul. How can we fix ourselves? What can we do to prepare ourselves for the high holidays, for Rosh Hashanah, for Hashem to inscribe us in a good year, B'ezrat Hashem? So comes our Parasha and tells us that because we didn't worship Hashem, or if we're not going to worship Hashem with happiness, okay, we're going to suffer. All the curses in the parasha, there's a lot of curses, are going to come just if we're not going to worship Hashem with happiness. And this is a very strong thing, you know, like, what can we do about this? I don't know if you know Rabbanit Youngreis, Esther Youngreis?
Youngreis, yeah.
Okay. Alea Shalom was a very, very special woman. So she wrote a few books about, you know, how she used to help out people. A couple came to her. His name was Shlomo, her name was Sarah, Adler family. And they had a beautiful life together. Rich people that had everything. Oh Hashem, family, children. Oh Hashem, good job. He worked in this company, and he really invested a lot in that company, and he was a candidate to become the executive director of that company. Meaning, you know. But then, just before that, another company purchased his company, their company, and he was laid off. Since that time that he was laid off, he fell apart. When Rabbanit Youngreis sees them coming into her office, she sees that the man, his eyes are gloomy. He is sad. He's not happy. He's not focused. Okay, and his wife is telling them. Sarah is telling to the Rabbanit, you know, everything was great before that, and then afterwards, things became very, very bad. He doesn't want to see anybody. He doesn't want to leave the house. He sits at home. He doesn't care about anything. Before people used to call him to ask advice. Before people used to call him and ask him if he can help him here, if he can help. He was managing at least 6 charity organizations. He was a very active person. Okay? And all of a sudden, he feels that he's worthless. He feels that no one respects him anymore. No one wants to talk to him anymore. Nobody cares about him. Even she says, my sister-in-law and his brother came to visit him. He didn't want to leave the room. He didn't want to come and meet them. This is how low he felt about himself. So Rabbi Youngreis tells her, you know something? Well, she started talking about her father. My father, she said, he was in the Holocaust. My mother, the whole family, they came from Hungary, and second city after Budapest was a city by the name Zaget, and my father was the chief rabbi of that city. Very high position, nice position, important position. And after the Holocaust, as they came to live in the United States, he didn't get that position anymore. He was selling items from house to house. He used to go and sell items. Very, very simple job. But that didn't make him depressed or anything. He was a happy person. He thanked Hashem every second that he's alive, that he has a family, that, that they survived. He says, what are you talking about? It was after the Holocaust, We're talking about something else now. The wife mentioned, Sarah mentioned that he was offered another job, okay? But, in a lower rank, he won't get that amount of salary, he won't get... She said, so what's the big deal? So it's not the job that you wanted. You know that my father, my family, they lost everything back there. The whole community, okay? Their houses they lost, their jobs, their positions, whatever you want, they came penniless. And still they're happy people because, Baruch Hashem, they live and then they survive and they can do stuff and they could, start from the beginning. Why are you so depressed? Tells her, well, I guess these people had a special energy, they had a special power, that they were stronger than me. She says, I'm sorry. I think it's all in your mind. It's all a matter of attitude. It's not that they were smarter, they were stronger, and you are not. You're also capable. It depends how you look at life. It depends what you think. Baruch Hashem, your family loves you, your kids are respecting you, your wife is appreciating you, okay? And so you have to pick up yourself. You cannot fall apart because of this. This is not what Hashem wants from us. Hashem wants from us, yes, we have tests, yes, we have difficulties, yes, we have problems, but this difficulty is supposed to, we're supposed to teach, we're supposed to learn from this and continue on with our life. So, yes. So when Chazal explain that if people don't worship Hashem with happiness, okay, they will then serve the enemies. Chazal explained here, enemies is the Yetzer Hara, is the evil inclination. That's enemies. This is what it says. Let's try to understand it. What is harder? Let me ask you a question. We have, in our Torah, we have 613 laws. We have mitzvot aseh, 248 mitzvot aseh, things that we're supposed to do. And then we have 365 mitzvot lo ta'aseh, prohibitions, things that we're not supposed to do. Mitzvot that we're supposed to do, keep Shabbat. Mitzvot that we're supposed to do, honor your parents. Okay? Say Birkat Hamazon. Mitzvot that we're not, that prohibitions are not to cheat, not to lie. Okay? not to commit murder, God forbid. This is mitzvot lo ta'aseh. So what's stronger? Not to do mitzvot aseh, not to do a mitzvah, or prevent yourself from doing a sin. Okay? Don't make a sin. So the rabbi said that not to do mitzvot aseh is not so hard. You have a mitzvah of eating matzah in Pesach. Who is not going to eat matzah in Pesach? Everybody eats matzah in Pesach. If you have a chance to sit in the sukkah, you're going to sit in the sukkah. But to prevent yourself from doing a sin, that's harder. Because the evil incarnation incites us, temptates us, makes us do a sin. Okay? And we know it fails us. And it's very, very hard when, see, the naturally human people, the nature, it builds like that if, God forbid, there's a problem of life and death, pikuach nefesh, you'll do anything to survive. If somebody is going to knock on your door and tell you, somebody sends you a package, a sack, he opens the sack, whoa, he's amazed to see a lot of bills, a lot of money. He says, how much money is in here? He says, $1 million. Whoa, he's getting excited, $1 million. He can start, thinking what he can do with $1 million. He's going to be the happiest man. He can. But he tells him, there's one condition. I'll give you all this money in one condition. You live in the 4th floor. I want you to go to the balcony from your 4th floor and jump. In that condition, you're going to take the money. Who is going to go and jump, and endanger himself to get $1 million? No one. If somebody has the brain, okay, and is healthy, no one is going to do that. You'll tell him, take your money and get away from here. I don't need you, not your money, right? Because, and it's interesting that we know that if somebody makes a sin, he's going to be punished, God forbid. And if it's a big sin, Hashem is going to give him such a punishment that he can, God forbid, lose olam haba. And still, people are doing it. How come? How come people are still doing it? So, because avera, the sins, metamtemet libo shel adam. Metamtemet means confuse you, makes you like fool. Okay? I'll tell you a story that I read. I heard it recently about the Lubavitcher Rebbe. There was this man that was close to the Lubavitch. He used to give donations here and there. He used to send letters maybe to the rabbis. He was, the rabbi knew him. And one time he had a medical problem and he was admitted to the hospital. He was hospitalized for some time. One of the nurses that took care of him was a nice looking nurse, not Jewish, and they started to like each other. They fell in love. And these people, they thought, they had a plan. Okay, so, he had a family at home. He had a family at home. He was Jewish. He was, watching that. He said, he made a plan with her, let's run away somewhere and start our life together. Doesn't care about consequences, doesn't care about anything.
Is she married?
I don't know, she wasn't even Jewish.
Oh my God.
So, this is what they were thinking. Okay, some time passed and he's still there, so basically cannot really do anything. But then, the doctors tell him that this coming Sunday he's going to be discharged from the hospital. So they made a plan that Sunday she's going to come and pick him up and they will go. That Friday afternoon, he gets a phone call from the secretary of the Rebbe. The secretary calls him and tells him, listen, I was looking for you the whole day. The rabbi asked me to deliver you a message. I'm calling the whole hospitals all over the Manhattan. And Baruch Hashem, I got into you. He gave me a message that he told me that you're 100% fine, you're okay, you're healthy, you should be discharged today. He says, what do you mean today? It's late, I won't be able to prepare myself for Shabbat, it's already afternoon. He says, the rabbi said, you should be discharged today. If you're leaving now, you'll be home by time for lighting candles, and that's what the rabbi said. Don't make, don't question. Okay, the rabbi said, quickly, he picked up his stuff, he made some phone calls, he told the family that he's on his way home. He got to the house just as his wife was about to light candles. So as he came into the house, the table is set, ready for Shabbat, okay? Food is cooked, everything on a hot plate, everything is ready, everyone is wearing their best clothes after shower, after everything. She lights candles, he goes to shul. It was a very, very spiritual, elevating Shabbat. He missed his family, the family missed him. It was so, so nice. Afternoon, he sits with himself and he thinks, what am I, stupid or what? What did I think exactly? How could I get into my mind, to go and sin with a woman that I don't even know her? She's not even Jewish. And I would leave all my family and all whatever I built throughout the years just like that, and I'll go? This is the evil inclination. Makes us imaginary pleasures. You're going to enjoy. She's a beautiful woman. She has a beautiful body. Or I don't know exactly. And people with brains can forget about everything that they did and go and do this sin, God forbid. זה מה שנקרא a sin. The problem is that sometimes with the mitzvot that we're supposed to do, we don't do it with so much excitement as we do sometimes the averot. The averot is the desires. It's with the desires. You think about this, and I don't know, people have pleasure in maybe eating non-kosher or violating certain laws. Where with mitzvot, we are not so, excited to do them, and that's the problem. So people are asking, so why it says, Asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. The mitzvot are elevating, are supposed to sanctify, are supposed to elevate. How come sometimes, many times, we don't feel any elevation when we do the mitzvot? This is because we do the mitzvot kemitzvat anashim melumada. This is a term in Hebrew that means you do it, you pray today. You pray today because you prayed yesterday, and the day before yesterday, and 2 weeks ago, and 1 year ago. It became a habit. You're not even thinking what you're saying. What kind of mitzvah is that? This is the problem. When you're not thinking of what you're doing, you're losing, God forbid, in a way, you're losing the mitzvah. It's not the way it's supposed to be done. One of the rabbis used to say that he met one of his students once, and he tells him, if I will offer you $1,000, I'll offer you $1,000 if you're not going to put on tefillin. Would you listen to me? He says, no, why should I listen to you? Offer me money so I won't put tefillin? Of course I'll put the tefillin. I do tefillin every day, and I'll offer you $10,000. I don't care. I'll offer you $1 million. I don't care. So when someone offers money, okay, and you won't listen to him because this mitzvah is so important for you, right?
Priceless.
So the rabbi says, so why don't I see it on you? Why don't I see that this mitzvah is so important? If you're willing to lose $1 million, okay, and not listen to me, why I don't see this excitement, this enthusiasm when you do this mitzvah? Okay? For men it's tefillin. For us, let's say, to wear tzniut, to wear modest, long. You're feeling so excited when you're wearing a long skirt or when you cover your hair completely or something. Yeah. So this is what it talks about. Every mitzvah that we do, we're supposed to do it. They say in the Zohar, bidchilu ulchinu. Bidchilu is with.
It's like so much easier to say. I find myself often with like daily chores in my house, again laundry, again cleaning. Where do you find all the time to put that excitement? I see myself do it with excitement often, but there are days where you feel like
You're 100% right. You're 100% right, Nina. When I started the shiur, I said, Baruch Hashem, we keep the mitzvot. Baruch Hashem, we're religious. Baruch Hashem, what is this Rosh Hashanah can elevate us more? How can we fix ourselves? How can we improve ourselves? How can we become better this Rosh Hashanah? And it looks like, תחת אשר לא אהבת את השם אלוקיך בשמחה. It doesn't say, because you didn't perform mitzvot, you're going to be punished. That's not what it said. It says, because you didn't perform mitzvot with happiness. When you have everything, and you still complain, and you still... This is when, God forbid, we're going to be punished. And that's a big thing. You never think about this, that yes, you do the prayer, you spend 20 minutes or so, when you pray, but you don't pay attention to what you say even, because you're thinking about what lunch I should prepare today, or I have to go downstairs to put the laundry, or I have to pick up my daughter from the kindergarten, or I have to do this, or I have to do that. You're thinking about million stuff, and this is what I'm trying to make you aware of. Pay attention to the mitzvot. The same way that you like to have variety in your clothing, let's say. Do you wear the same clothing every day? No. Why not? Why not?
too much. No.
Okay, why not? Do you wear the same mitpacha? Do you wear the same, I don't know. You like to change, to look different. Why? Because you love it. You like to look different every time. Because that's a woman, Baruch Hashem. Because you like it, you would change it. You won't stay with the same dress, or you won't go with the same dress to a wedding, right? All the time, all the time, all the time. You like to change. Why? Now, imagine to yourself, we have a mitzvah that's called Shabbat. How are you going to do this Shabbat different than all the other regular Shabbatot that you have?
Change the salads.
Good, that's a start. Okay,
Change
you
the
can
fish
different salad, different fish, different cake, new cake, something that.
The dash van de Gatsvol.
Oh yeah, that's a little lower level, but that's good too. But then also think about this coming parasha, a new story for it, or new Dvar Torah. Share it with your family. Ask your children to, and this is, or having guests over, somebody that you didn't invite till now, or. This is what's going to make your Shabbat a little bit different, right? You want to have variety in, I told you, clothing that you wear. You want, let's say, to explain something to your child. If you're going to give him the same exact example all the time, it's not interesting. You have to find, in order for this to get into his head, to find all kind of different examples, different way how to teach him, different way that it would get into him, right? This is human being, loves to renew, okay? This is what it says. דרשו חז"ל בספרי, בכל יום יהיו בעיניך כחדשים. That every day this mitzvot should be like new to you. First time ever you did הפרשת חלה. How was it? It was different. That same feeling you're supposed to have every time. It's hard, I know. I'm human and I'm like you. We're all the same. But I'm saying, mitzvah is supposed to be not the same old thing again and again and again. Okay? You have to think before you do something. I'll soon give you an example. How, when you think about the mitzvah, a second before you do, how it makes such a big difference. So this is the problem. With the mitzvot, sometimes we don't do it with all the liveliness, okay, as we do sometimes the sins, and therefore You know, Hashem is upset at us and we don't do it in a perfect way. Rav Chaim Mivolozhin explained it, added to it. He said, if a servant or a slave, he works for his master, okay? Usually, even though he works for him, he's loyal to him, he's devoted to him and everything, still, in his mind, every slave, he wants to get free. He doesn't want to be bound. He doesn't want to be under, someone's rule. He wants to be free. He wants to be on his own, and always thinking, how can I run away, okay, to be my own master. In a way, he says, his master is his hidden enemy. This is what he says. So he says there's a measure against measure here. Because you didn't worship Hashem in happiness, now you'll have to serve, God forbid, the enemy when you're forced to, even when you don't want. Okay. Magid Miduvna, just to finish up, to wrap up with this idea, says a mashal. He says there was this man, a merchant, that sends his helper to the post office. He told him, I have a package over there. Somebody delivered me a package. Please bring me this package. He came after so many hours. He didn't come right away. After so many hours, tired, exhausted, full of pain, injured, scratched. And the merchant didn't understand. What took you so long? He says, you don't understand. This heavy sack that I had to carry, injured me. What do you mean injured you? Well, the sack was full of nails, and the nails are so heavy, and they were also, I saw that they were rusty. The nails were rusty, and they scratched me, and it was so heavy, and I'm so tired. And the merchant says, what are you talking about? This is not what I sent you. I sent you to pick up diamonds. Diamonds are the most slight things, because each diamond worth so much. It's a very, very expensive package. It's supposed to be a small package. You didn't bring me my sack or my package. You gave me something else. The mitzvot, if for us, it's heavy, it's frustrating, it's a burden, okay? It's annoying, it's too much, it's hard and it's difficult. We are distancing from Hashem. We're not doing it the right way, okay? The mitzvot is supposed to elevate us. What's supposed to make us closer to Hashem. Be happy with what we do, and when people are sad, it prevents them from coming closer, from doing stuff, from learning. They start having all kind of doubts, all kind of confusions, and all kind of problems. And so depends, okay, what motivates us. There was this group of soldiers that were in one of the wars, and they were camping in the clearing of one of a big forest. So they were on a call, kind of waiting, waiting. They were on alert, waiting to see if there would be a battle. They will have to run. Meanwhile, nothing was happening. So and it was freezing, and it was very, very cold. So they were trying to warm themselves up. They had a porridge there, very good quality porridge. They put it on top of, they put it in a pot, and wanted for this to be boiled, and maybe they'll eat it and get warm. So they're waiting for this porridge to get to be boiled, and then it started to get boiling, and at that moment when the soldiers are coming with their plates, they wanted to be the porridge to be poured into their plates. All of a sudden they hear the trumpets, they are called to the war, to the battle. So they threw their plates, didn't have time they took their weapons, mounted on their horses, and started to gallop towards the battle. There was one soldier there that was a very scary soldier.
I'm scared.
He was scared, he was lazy, and he was always complaining. He looks at this porridge that's already ready, and he really wants to eat. And he doesn't want to go to that battle. He's scared of that. But he wants to eat something. So he was thinking for a second, and he took the canteen or a water bottle that he had, okay, spilled the water from there, and filled it up with this hot boiling porridge, closed it, mounted on his horse, and galloped also towards the battle. The horse started feeling the heat coming from the bottle, and it bothered him. He started running very fast. He started galloping, in a wild way. And he's going so fast now that he passed his battalion, his soldier, and went towards already the enemy's place, the enemy line, and the soldier that's sitting on top of the horse, he's screaming, he's screeching, he's scared, he's frightened, and the horse is running like wild, and the enemy got so frightened from this horse, and they ran away, they scattered, and they won.
That's so funny.
So the general, the general of the army heard about this interesting victory, and he called this soldier and wanted to give him an award.
That's funny.
But his general knew, his commander, he knew that this guy is a lazy guy, and he's a scary guy, and he's scared from this battle and everything. It's not him. He was sure it's not him. So he told him, tell me the truth. What exactly happened? He told him the story about the porridge. He says, so it's not you that made the victory, it's the porridge. So what motivates us? Where are we coming from? That's the question, I know a woman that, I'm sure you know too, that started to wear long clothing as tzanua, not because but because she's very fat, she doesn't want this to be revealed, that to be revealed, she is too hairy, or she has this spot or this problem. Why are we keeping the mitzvah? Okay? And also in this parasha, we're talking about, it starts with a mitzvah that's called mitzvah bikurim. What's the mitzvah bikurim? First fruit. A man, invests so much on this small lot that he got in Israel, He plows his land, he plants, he waters, he removes all the weeds and uproots and all the stones and fertilizes and waters and invests so much. So, and then he sees the first bud that's coming out, and then he knows that this fruit that's going to come from this tree, he's not going to use it. He cannot really use it, He needs to take it to Yerushalayim, to the Kohen, and give it as a bikurim. Chaim Shmulevitz explained that everything that you invest a lot into, you feel an affection to it. You feel something special towards it. Emotionally, you're connected to it. He says, why a mother that gives birth to a baby that's screeching and screaming, you don't know the baby yet, you're not acquainted with him yet, you know nothing with this. How come a mother can love the baby so much? It's because she invested in him 9 months, her blood, her flesh, her dreams, her whatever, everything went to this baby, And because you invest so much into something, this is how it produces love. This is how you feel something towards it. So Hashem wants us. You pay attention so much to this first fruit ever that you have. Hashem wants you to devote it, to give it, to not to have it yourself, but to give it to the Kohanim. When you do this kind of action, you show your devotion to Hashem, and that's what Hashem wants. So we do this also with happiness, and it says that if people do it with happiness, they'll get reward, this and that. He says, imagine to yourself that you got a fruit, or any other, the most simple things that you're going to get. But if you're going to get it from a very, very important person, VIP, somebody important, from the king himself, it's going to be dear to you. It's going to be very important to you. Hashem gives us not only fruit. Hashem gives us this fruit. Hashem gives us life. Hashem gives us health. Hashem gives us children. Hashem gives us whatever, and everything basically. And so, if you go with this knowledge that you give, that everything is from Hashem, okay, your attitude, this is when you get into true happiness in life. And let's see what gratitude can make to people. There was this guy that he became Chazor B'Tshuva. It's a known story, it's a real story. Became Chazor B'Tshuva. His name was Elbaz. And by his family were so upset at him. They banned him from the fact because he became Chazor B'Tshuva. They were not religious, and they made his life miserable. They used to call him, they used to make fun of him, they used to, annoy him, whatever. So for a while he wasn't in touch with them because they were just upsetting him and everything. And but then after a while, once he got a phone call from a family member asking him how he is and how's everything. He said fine, he was happy to hear. And then once his father sent him some money, financially it was very hard for him. He started studying, he didn't have anything, financially it was very hard. His father sent him some money, he was so grateful. And then once his mother called, one of his brothers called. So once when another brother called, he said, tell me what happened, what's the change, how come you start calling him? He says, I want to tell you something. One day we were sitting and watching TV. And how much can you see the same shows, the same competitions, the same movies, the same programs? They're all shallow. It's not real. It's a whole... So we were moving from station to station, and then we got into this station that's called Hidabrut. Hidabrut is now a religious station in Israel.
Thank God.
They have Hidabrut in English as well. And over there we were introduced to Yahadut, to Judaism, in a nice way. All kind of rabbis, all kind of singers, all kind of this. They all become Chazor B'Tshuva, and they explain how. And it was so interesting. And we thought that maybe your move was the right move. Okay, we started appreciating you. This is what he said, his brother. This Elbaz was so happy to hear that. From feeling gratitude to this organization, Hidabrut, he called them and he said, I would like to donate money to you. I don't have so much money, but I would like to donate you anyway. He gave them a certain sum of money. And the guy on the other line, he tells him, you know something, you're entitled to get into this raffle because you gave this donation, a raffle for an apartment in Jerusalem. An apartment in Jerusalem is a very, very expensive thing. A new apartment, He said, okay. A few weeks passed, and then he gets this phone call that he won the raffle. And amen. So basically, he gave a small amount for a charity, okay? And see how the charity, or how Hashem gave him so much in return. He was thinking a little bit as a gratitude to this organization that made my family closer to Judaism. I would like to donate them, to contribute something. And how, when you're thinking about the mitzvah that you do, how it comes back to you, how Hashem showers you with blessings afterwards, all the blessings that we mentioned before. So when you think about, if you wouldn't think about appreciating, so the blessing was ready for him in heaven, but it wouldn't come down. It came down just because he made this step, okay? He called them and he made a difference. If we would live in this attitude of gratitude, our children would be more appreciating to us, okay, for all whatever we do to our children. We would be appreciating to our children because they did bring happiness to our life. Spouse, husband would appreciate his wife, a wife would appreciate her husband because together they built a nest together Okay, they have a family together. Okay, and they all, thank Hashem for all the blessings that He bestowed on them. And so, if we are thanking Hashem for the fruit, okay, the bikurim that we bring to the holy temple, and we sanctify this fruit, okay, how much we're supposed to thank Hashem for health, for life itself, for everything that He gives us. I would like to finish with this amazing story that I read about, you think a little bit about the mitzvah, and you see yourself how this mitzvah gives so much to you. There was this girl by the name Miriam, and her father, he used to decode, interpretate certain manuscripts, old manuscripts. He knew how to read these things, and then they would publish it, and they would make a nice book from it. So this, his employer, okay, he saw that he's a very good man. He knows how to work very nicely. The father, the employer was Mr. Sternhoff, and he invested a lot into this certain manuscript. And he thought it's going to be a big hit. People are going to wait online to buy it, and it's going to be a bestseller. Nothing. No one was interested. No one wanted to buy it. He had so much copies laying in his basement, in his warehouse or whatever. Nothing. He felt so bad. He called her father and he told her, "I'm sorry. I thought we're going to make a profit from this, but we don't have any profit. And I won't be able, unfortunately, to continue hiring you. I cannot, because I don't have the money." He felt so bad to do that, but he didn't have a choice. Now this Miriam, she sees that her father is staying home. Yes, he's going to study. Yes, he's learning meanwhile. Yes, but he's in a way turned off, sad. Financially it's hard. They have a big family, a lot of kids. And him staying at home, okay, makes it harder. He's not a happy person. He knows that as a person that works, interpreting and these manuscripts, he can do so, and it brought him a lot of happiness to do that. But now that he's staying home, he's not the same person anymore, and you can see that he's stressed at home. So she said, "What can I do to make my father feel important again, feel great again, put a smile on his face again, a smile on my mother's face? What can I do?" She was a teenage girl. So she was searching and found this job to do afternoon. Okay, by a woman that sells wigs in a house, from her basement. She would go to her, be with her the whole afternoon, fix, help her do stuff, and she gets some amount of money, and she makes an appointment with Mr. Sternhoff, and she asks him a favor. She tells him, "Listen, my father is at home, and I know that he loved working for you." He says, "I'm sorry, I cannot hire him. I just can't. I feel so bad. I can't." She says, "No, please, listen. Every month, I'm going to give you a sum of money for a part-time job that you will ask him to do for you, because I don't have the amount. A part-time job. Just ask him to come just for a few hours, not come more. I want him to feel good. And you are going to take the money that I'll give you and write a check as if it is from you. I will pay for this." He told her, "I'm a very straight man. I'm a very honest man. I cannot do such a thing." She says, "Please ask. I'll give you the money for my father." He said, "You know something? I'll ask my rabbi and see what he says." The rabbi heard the story, the idea. He told him, "You know something? Do as she says, and see what happens." So reluctantly, he really didn't want to do that, but he did that. Every month he called him, he asked him to continue working for a few hours every day, and he would write him the check, the money that the girl brings him. And it was going like that for several months. One day the girl comes to give him another envelope of money. He tells her, you won't believe what happened. A publisher from the United States, from New York, saw this manuscript, and he said that this is a great thing. He is sure he can make himself this book as a bestseller. He bought all the amount of the books that I had in the basement or in the warehouse or whatever, and he wants to be a part in publishing the second volume even. You know, it's going to be a great hit. You don't need to come and pay me anymore. I'm going to hire him full time from tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem. Everything will be okay. And okay, now this girl, Miriam, imagine what this mitzvah did to her. She started to think of her parents. She started to think of her father as a person that gave her so much that she wanted to pay back. She just didn't know. She's a young girl. She didn't know how to do. But the fact that she was giving him hundreds of dollars every month, let's say, first of all, matured her very much. She grew up in these several months much more than before. She became a caring person. She started to think, you know, out of her, not only about herself, but about her family, about her mother, about her father, about her brothers, about this, about that. And it elevated her so much, made her feel, oh, so much. When you do a mitzvah, okay, what is a mitzvah? Asher kideshanu, b'mitzvotav is kideshanu. A mitzvot is supposed to raise us, to elevate us, to make us feel deeper, to make us feel closer to Hashem, connected to Hashem, connected to other people. You do a charity, you think about it, not just give $10 charity, not just, you know, another Shabbat and another kashrut and another. Think a bit before. This is I think this is supposed to be our trying to improve ourselves now before Rosh Hashanah. How can we think before every mitzvah that we do? How can we make the mitzvah better? How can we work on ourselves? B'ezrat Hashem, Hashem sees your effort, sees our effort, and grant us a good year, a year full of happiness, B'ezrat Hashem, full of besorot tovot, full of yeshuot, full of B'ezrat Hashem Mashiach. Thank you so much. God bless you.